Welcome back to part 2 of getting the old Sporty 40 back on the road. Last week we worked on the motor. It had some issues. I think we need to continue working on it. Yes, sir, the old motor, she has some issues. We're going to tear at least the top half off of it, see what's going on, see what's in that lifter valley. What I'm going to do right now is we're going to get it off the run stand. I got to go get my engine stand out of the garage. We're going to put it right over here and work on it. And if you might notice, the dang old Dodge is gone. Yes, sir. I worked on that thing a little bit Saturday. I worked on it most of the day today, and it's gone. Yes, glad to get that thing out of here. You might be wondering why my S10 is in here. Well, let me show you. My handy dandy assistant called me a little while ago. He said, I got some parts you might want to look through, see if you want any. Well, as you can see, I wanted a lot of them. Yep. Got 4 flywheels right there for Chevrolet V8. It's just a conglomerate of everything. There's some bushings for the, what do you call them up front? Sway bar. Master cylinder, steering parts. Got some pulleys. A lot of bearings and seals. Don't know what to go to, but they're still in the box, so you can look them up. Got some muffler clamps. There's some muffler hangers in here. A lot of speedometer cables for some reason. But anyway, it's late. It's like 9:30 at night. Yeah, I'm just now getting started on this motor because I worked on that Dodge most of the day and other stuff too. And I didn't want to unload it, and I didn't want it to get rained on, so I just pulled it in here. That's a wonderful thing about having a shop. It's awesome. Yes, sir. Anyway, let me go to the garage and get that engine stand, and we'll get this thing put on it real quick. See this little set of sockets, Irwin? They are made for when you strip the head of a bolt. They have saved me 2 or 3 times now. They are worth their weight in gold. All right, now we got it on the stand. Let's pull the water pump off first because we're gonna, putting the cam in, it's got to come off anyway. I just soon get that fan out of my way. Alrighty. Alrighty. All right, let's get the valve covered off. That one there I took off the other night. Never put the screws back in. I don't think I'm going to reuse these valve covers. Well, they look kind of crappy. I think I got some chrome one somewhere we might throw on it. Ta-da! All right, let us get the intake off. I am really, really curious to see what's under this. I bet you it's a whole bunch of installation. Bet you money. Well, I can't get all of them. Oh, no. Get out of the way. Ugh. Oh, are you kidding me? I just dropped that bolt down in the, I swear. Good thing I'm gonna pull the pan off anyway. I swear. All right, last bolt. Let me get me a prying bar. We'll pull that intake off. All right, where can I pry from? Oh, look at there, it just come right off. Huh. All right, y'all ready to see what's in here? What in the devil? I forgot my fuel line hooked up. Let me get that undone. Well, I told y'all I saw some yellow insulation when I pulled one of these bush rods out. Yeah, well, there it is right there. That is, yep, that's a pretty good 2-story condo right there. Wonder if there's any still living in it. I don't see any, but it's got, what is this? I don't know. Huh. Anyway, let me clean this out. It's a little rusty down in here. We're going to do a little bit of cleaning. Let me clean this out real quick. Get some of this here nastiness out of here. Pretty disgusting. Yep. Got some bugs in here. Look at everything. What the devil? Let's see if I can get this bolt out. Look at there. Oh yeah. All right, got that cleaned up pretty good. It's quite a bit of rust in here. I don't really know what we're gonna do about that just yet. But let's go ahead and pull the cam out as soon as I get this here out of my way. We're going to put a freeze plug in there to block this off. Let me fool with this aggravating puller for a minute and see if I can get this here hub off. This puller is just almost big enough, not quite. It may not pull it off. We shall see. Oh yeah. Let's pull this here cover off. What size are you? I gotta get up and go get a socket. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself. I need to drain an Earl, then drop the pan and then get this cover off. And I forgot a bolt too. Well, my goodness. All right. I decided to just go ahead, take the dead blame pan off, get it out of the way. Yep. All right, hopefully I won't get ahead of myself anymore. So let's get this here off. All right. Pretty sloppy, yes sir, but I've seen a whole lot worse. Sure have. Well, I got ahead of myself again. Yes, sir. I don't know what's going on with my brain tonight. Clearly, it ain't working. You know what probably made this rusty up here? Mouse pepe. Most likely. Can I get the lifters out? Probably not. Come out of there right now. There we'll be. See that dark ring around the bottom? This tarnish built up. That's what holds them in. Ooh. All right, let's pull this cam out real quick like. If it'll come out, ow. Oh, I still got the push rod for the fuel pump. Let me get it out. I don't know what's going on with my brain tonight. I'm forgetting everything, I reckon. All right, now, let's get this camelema out of here. And I got to show you something on the lifters. It's pretty interesting. Uh-oh. This is pretty interesting here. It sure is. Ow. Ow. All right, there it is. Well, there's all the lifters lined up. They are not in order. I didn't keep them in order. There's the camelama ding dong right there. All of them are cupped. You know, they're supposed to be crowned like 3,000s. Well, these are all cupped. You get to this one right here. It's wore pretty bad. Yep. And I think I know which one that was. Remember I told you exhaust on number 2, the valve, it didn't look like it was moving. Well, there's a reason why. There it is right there. I'm gonna turn her around and you watch. They ain't no low but tall. No, sir. As flat as it can be. So that's why it wasn't working. Them being cupped that bad makes me think this thing's got a lot of miles on it too. Or it could just be, you know how the cams do sometimes. I think what we're going to do, see these heads right here? These are 462 heads. Been sitting over at Mama's for quite some time. My brother-in-law, I believe, gave them to Daddy probably 30 years ago, I'd say. Maybe longer than that. They used to run a dirt track, and that's some of the heads. I don't know why they had them apart, but I do have the valve springs in there. I don't have any valves. Well, I might. I got to look. If I can find valves, we're going to use those heads. So if we're going to use those heads, I might pull these off. I just want to see how bad the cylinders look. If there's a bunch of ridge, we may have to do I don't know, may have to do a re-ring or something. I don't know. I'm going to pull the heads off. Let's just see. All right, so we can get this head off of here. Well, I got myself wet in the process, so that's good. Oh, come over there. Come on there. Well, there's some ridge. I ain't gonna lie to you. Yes, sir. But I think we're just gonna let it fly. Yep. Because I don't feel like doing a rebuild. I just don't want to right now. The reason I tore this down so late tonight is I learned something about small block Chevrolets. I sure did. I was trying to buy a timing cover gasket set. I looked up a 60-283. Well, O'Reilly's didn't have one. And I thought that was odd for them not to have a gasket set for small block Chevrolet. Well, I looked up a 75, I think it was, 350 C10. And they had a gasket. And I got to think, well, that's odd, because I thought all that was the same. Well, it is not. Let me tell you. From 55 to 74, they used a different oil pan and gasket and all that. In 75, they changed it to a thicker. Well, let me get over here and show you on the oil pan. All right, here's the Earl pan off of it. And from 55 to 74, from here to up here was 2 1/4 inches. And from here to here was 5 1/2, I believe. In 75, this went to 2 3/8. This went to 5 3/4. I didn't know that. Learn something new every day. So yes, sir, when you're working on something, you need to make sure what you got before you go to buying parts. Anyway, I'm tired. It's probably midnight or later. I'm gonna go in the house, order gaskets and whatnot. Remember, dude, the 350 we rebuilt for him. Remember how it had already been gone through, had new bearings, had a new cam. Well, there it is right there. If you remember, it was an Elgin, I believe a 903P is what was on the end of it. Looked it up, and it's what they call a GM 151. It come out of it's the same thing. It goes in a 327, 350 horse. I want to say it's got like 222 duration exhaust and intake, single pattern cam, like 470 something lift. It ain't a big cam. It'll be pretty decent size for a little 283. Well, I'm gonna stick it in there just because I can. Anyway, I'm gonna go in the house and order my gaskets and everything else I need now that I know this is, probably the factory timing cover and oil pan. Tomorrow, Well, when I get my parts, well, we got to clean this. We got to clean this valley up here because that's pretty nasty. Once we clean that up, hopefully tomorrow, maybe we can get it put back together. We'll just see. Well, it's the next day. Actually, it's the next night again. It sure is. It's about 8:30, and I'll tell y'all what, I thought when I got me a shop built, I'd have all my stuff here. I'd have all kind of time. I ain't got time to turn around. I don't know what's going on, but something's going to have to give. Well, I had a late night. I didn't go to bed till 5 o'clock this morning. I won't discuss why, but yeah, didn't get up till about 10:30. And well, I spent an hour or two on the interwebs this morning looking for parts for this motor. Well, I got my gaskets. I ordered it last night. Well, I got up this morning and I thought, you dummy, you got to have a timing chain set. So, I was looking for parts for it and found one next town over. And then I thought, well, dummy, you got to have valve seals too because you ain't got none of them. So, I got to looking for them. I had to end up ordering them, but I had to go to the next town over to Audio Zone. It's about a 30-minute drive from here. That's where my timing chain was. And went to Ireland in that same town because I thought they had valve seals. Well, they didn't. They only had 4, and I don't think they'd have worked anyway. And then I went to another town to Ireland, and that's where my gasket set was. Anyway, I've been around the world today and I ain't got nothing done. It's late at night, and we got to do something. Well, let me tell you this real quick. I don't know. I don't understand these parts places anymore. Most all small block Chevrolets will interchange. Well, we learned last night that the oil pans are different. All it is you need a different gasket. Well, I was looking for that timing chain set at O'Reilly's, AutoZone. I think I looked on Advance and Napa too. And look up a 60-83. And O'Reilly's, it listed 4. None of them available. Couldn't order them. Couldn't get them shipped home. I thought, well, that's just odd because they're all the same basically. Well, I looked up a 75 C10 with a 350. It listed 7 or 8, and 2 of them I could get, the next day. Well, I thought, well, something ain't right. I looked up like a 67-283. Well, it listed a bunch of different ones from the other 2, and that don't make sense because I promise you, as far as fitment goes, timing chains are all the same on small block Chevrolet. And you got double roller, you got single roller, you got the link type, the stock type. But as far as fitting on the crank and the cam and all that, they're all the same. I don't understand why they had it listed like that. Anyway, I finally found one. Went and got it today. Anyway, this is what we're going to do tonight. These are the heads I'm going to use. There's the 462s. Of course, you can see they don't have any valves. Well, I got me some valves. Remember Lockjaw, if you saw me drive him out of the woods, that whole series. Remember it had a block and heads sitting in the cab? Well, that was a TBI block, 191 heads. Well, there's the valves out of them. I just went and got them a little while ago. That's the valves we're going to use. Of course, we got to clean them up. This has got light surface rust. I'm going to take this brush, clean it up. We're going to lap them valves in, call it good. But I can't put it together, because I need my valve seals. So we'll have to wait on that till tomorrow. But let me show you this. I don't know if 462 heads came like this from the factory or not. But they are cut for the big valve springs. They may have come to the factory like that. But these have also been pinned, the rocker arm studs. See that right there? So we ain't gonna have to do no screw-in studs, which I wouldn't anyway. Let me tell you this too. I looked the specs up on that cam last night when I went in the house. It is 222 duration on intake and exhaust, but it's 447 lift, not 470 something. And I believe the lobe separation angle is 114. Anyway, these pin studs, they'll be just fine. These heads will be just fine. I got a set of big big springs that I've had for 30 years for that 283, that I was going to build 30 years ago. So they'll work here. I got keepers, I got retainers, so we're all good there. I think so far, I've got $125 in this motor. This gasket set was, I think, about 50 or 60. This was 40. Valve seals, how much were they, 30 or 40? I don't even think they're that much. Anyway, minimal money. That's why, I ain't worried about the block being wore like it is. This is just a motor to get this on the road and enjoy driving it, and eventually it may get a 327. You never know. Look at the mirror, doubly hump. Oh yeah. When were these made? Let's see. L21-6. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. December 21st, 1966 is when these were built. Anyway, let's do a little wire rebrushing. Do a little porting and polishing here. Well, I got both heads cleaned up. There's one, there's two. I got all the valves cleaned up. And by the way, see those white marks across them two fingers right there? You can imagine where that come from, yes sir. I'm surprised it did not draw blood, but the valve, it caught that wire wheel and it yanked my fingers into it. And let me tell you, it hurt there for a second. Anyway, got these cleaned up, got the valves cleaned up. I went to stick one of these exhaust valves in here to see what it do. Well, that's as far as she'll go. You know? The reason why, the valve guides are 11/32. These exhaust valves are 3/8. I don't know if somebody, you know, that those 191 heads, somebody, you know, redid the exhaust valves. I don't know. These are the intakes. They're 11/32. They'll work. So I think I've got some over at Mama's that will work the exhaust valve, but it's about 11 o'clock at night. If I go over there right now, if she hears me in the basement, she's liable to come down and shoot me, so I ain't doing that. So the only valve that's going to get lapped tonight is the intakes, and after that, might go over and clean on the block a little bit, or I might just try to get in the bed at a decent hour tomorrow so I can get up at a decent hour tomorrow and maybe get some more of this stuff. I'll just have to see how I feel. But right now, let's lap some intake valves. Alrighty, if you have seen me lap valves in, well, you can fast forward. But if you have not seen me lap valves, well, let me just show you what you do. Firstly, I put a little bit of Earl on the valve stem because you don't want that dry because you'll be spinning it. Then secondly, you get you some valve lapping compound. I'm using fine right now. If it ain't good enough, we'll go to coarse. But you just put some on the face of the valve right there, just like that right there. Then you stick her in just like that right there. Some people do it by hand. I do it sometimes by hand, but if I got a lot to do, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do it with this here drill. All this is a bolt with a piece of hose that fits that valve stem. You just slide it up on there. And I got a hose clamp to keep it from slipping. Tighten that up right there. Then turn your drill. You ain't got to turn it real fast, but you want to work it in and out. The way valve lapping compound works. Let me get a valve. You know, you got it on the face here. Then you pull it into the seat. It's turning. Well, that valve lapping compound is going to move away from the face. Well, you basically open the valve, and that makes that valve lapping compound come back to the face. You close it, and it'll grind a little bit till it goes away. And you open it, it'll bring it back. You just keep doing that until it quits cutting, and then it's time to change the valve lapping compound. But all you do is turn it kind of slow. I put my finger back here to put pressure on it. Just turn it slow. You just go a little bit and then push it out, go a little bit and push it out. You can feel when it stops cutting. And you go out and it'll bring it back, bring it lapping compound back. Just like that right there. It takes a while to do it, yes sir, I ain't gonna lie to you. But I will show you the end result, what it's supposed to look like when I get done here. Alright, it feels like it's quit cutting. So let me take this here off. We'll pull that valve out, wipe it off, look at it and the seat, and see what it looks like. Well, the valve, it don't look bad from what I can tell. My eyes are kind of bad, but it'll be a gray area, a dull gray area where it's grinding. Let's turn this around, look at the seat, see what it looks like. All right, let me show you this seat, maybe. See, it's got sort of a grayish area. We come over here and look at this one. It's dull and dirty. This one over here the same way. Come back and look at this one. That's what you're looking for. You want it clean. Well, it may have a little pits here. I need to do a little more. But you want a gray area. I don't know how wide. It's just, yeah. But anyway, you want a dull gray area all the way around with no pits and a uniform width, basically. And then where'd the valve go? I don't know. Let's look at it. Here it is. See it a little bit better. See how that gray area? Well, it won't focus. There it goes. That looks there. That's what you're looking for. That uniform dull gray. And that's when you get that, you're done. This here's almost there. I see a few little pits maybe. I'll do it a little bit more and it'll be done, and then I'll move on to the rest of them. All right, fellas, this is the second head, last valve. Let me get done with this and we'll pull it out, see what it looks like. And then I think we'll be done with these. I don't know if y'all can see that or not, but they look pretty doggone good. Yes, sir. They really do. I'm going to set these out of the way, put this valve over here so I don't get it out of place. And it's a little after 12, I think. Let's go over and fiddle with this for just a little bit. I'm going to pull that other head off. We may scrape around on the deck surface a little bit. And that may be all we do tonight. All right, let's get this here head off of this here motor. Oh yeah, come on pretty easy. These are blue head gaskets. I think they may be aftermarket. Let me look at them and see. Best I can tell, it is a 7733 PT2. I looked it up online and it is Velcro. So this motor's been into before. You know what? I just wonder if it's been bored. Let me get something and just measure this and see what we got. All right, we do have approximately 3 inches and 873-ish. So yes, sir, it is a stock bore. Anyway, let me get this off here. I'm gonna scrape on this deck surface a little bit. This valley, it's got surface rust. I don't know how I'm gonna clean it yet, because I don't want it to get down in there. May just have to take a little brush and chop back and hold it there. Anyway, let me scrape on this first. I'm not gonna make y'all sit here and watch me do this exciting work right here, but I think I'll do this here. We'll go to the house. So I got to finish editing last night. I didn't get done with it, and then I got to edit tonight. So that's possibly a couple of hours work right there. So it'll be 2 or 3 o'clock before I get into bed, I'd say. Anyway, maybe tomorrow if I get all my parts and I get my brain right. I tell you, here lately my brains don't work. But anyway, if I get all my parts, maybe we'll get this thing together tomorrow and hear it run. We'll just have to wait and see. Well, it's the next day again, and it is not 8 or 9 o'clock at night. As you can see, it's daylight. We're getting a little better start on the day today. I went and got me some exhaust valves. I'm gonna clean them up and lap them in. Just got an email saying my valve seals are here, so once I get this done, I'll go get the valve seals, and we'll probably go ahead and put these heads together. Then once I get that done, I gotta do a little more cleaning on the block. Last night, after I scraped the deck surfaces, I got me a little bitty brush and my vacuum and clean this valley up pretty good. I'm gonna do a little more cleaning on it, and then the passageways down in here that go to each lifters. I saw a little trash in them, so I might spray them out with some carb cleaner. got to clean this area up right here, and then I think the block will probably be clean enough, and maybe we can go ahead and start putting this thing together. Right now, let me get these exhaust valves done. All right, I just got done lapping in all the exhaust valves. They all did pretty good except for this one. The valve itself was a little bit rough. Exhaust valves are always rough anyway. It was a little concave, I think is what you call it. It really needed to be ground, but I didn't feel like doing it, so I worked on it extra long with the coarse compound, and it finally did all right. Just got an email saying my valve seals are here. So I got to go to Ireland in one town to pick them up. Then I got to go to Walmart in my town to get some Rotella T, the T4 oil. I don't think O'Reilly's carries it, and they're just way too expensive on oil anyway. I try not to buy oil from O'Reilly's. Anyway, got to run around town is what I'm trying to tell you. When I get back, we'll clean these heads up. Got to get all this grit out of here, clean these up, put them together. And then we'll finish cleaning on the block, and hopefully I'm planning on working 10, 12, 14 hours today. Hopefully we'll at least get this most of the way put together, and then tomorrow we'll finish it up, run it, break it in, and everything will be just fine and dandy. Anyway, let me head to O'Reilly's, and I'll be back in a little bit. Well, I just got back from town. I got me some ZDDP zinc break-in oil additive. It claims that you add that bottle to 4.5 quarts and it'll raise your zinc ppm to 5,000. That should be plenty. You know, we don't want to destroy this cam. What else did I get? Oh, my valve seals. They're right here. Yep. Then I went to Walmart. My Earl filter is right yonder. And I have already cleaned the heads up. I just sprayed them with carb cleaner, get all that grit off. Then I soaked them in WD-40 to keep everything from rusting. What we're fixing to do right now is put them together, but before we put them together, we got to check our clearance. I'm pretty sure we're okay, but remember how I've done it on other heads. We've got to check the clearance from the top of the valve seal to the bottom of the retainer, you know, after we do our 447 lift. Need, what did I usually do, 50,000 clearance, I think? It should be plenty. So anyway, let me get that set up, get the dial indicator on here, and we'll check that clearance. Well, we ain't gonna be putting no heads together. We ain't gonna be checking no valve seal clearance because O'Reilly's website, well, it struck again. Yes, sir. Valve seals, well, just watch. These are supposed to, you know, sort of be a press fit. Watch this. Whoop. Yep. Just up and down. Yep. What I did to determine that these would fit these heads, I got on O'Reilly's website. These are 66s, you know, the year, that L26, and then the other one is an L21-6. Well, L is December, 20 is the 20th of December, and the 6 will be 1966 because they didn't make these in 56 or 76. They would have been 66s. So I looked up a 66 Chevy with a 327 because, you know, they would have had these. And looked up valve seals, went through, found these ones right here. It said they would fit a 500 thousandths valve guide. That's what this is. I ordered them, and as you can see, they they do not fit. They just, no sir. Got on Summit's website, looked up that number 518-16, and they are in fact for 530 thousandths valve guide boss. They won't fit. We were dead in the water as far as the heads. We were pretty much dead in the water. That was about all I can do over there. Put the cam and lifters in, put the clean the oil pan, and that's about it. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna go in right now and see if I can determine what valve seals I actually need. What I'm gonna do is get on Summit's website because they got pretty accurate information, figure out which ones I need, and then go to O'Reilly's, see if they can get them, you know, tomorrow. Hopefully, fingers crossed that we can, because if we can't, well, this video may end without running this motor because I got about a day and a half left. Yes, sir. Anyway, let me see if I can find the right valve seals. All right, I think what I'm gonna do firstly, since I am not in a hurry anymore, let's drill the end of this crank out for a bolt. It is a 70/16 20 fine thread bolt. It takes a 390 thousandths drill, but we're gonna start out with a 1/4 inch. Drill us a hole. Y'all watch this way, make sure I stay parallel with the crank. I'll watch this way. And I'll probably end up drilling it crooked anyway. I got my engine stand here scotched with 2 of the new flywheels I got. By the way, those flywheels, they are old school. They're not for a one piece. They are old school. So that's awesome because that's, you know, normally what I'm working with. Anyway, let us drill this. Y'all make sure I stay parallel. I ain't real sure how deep I need to go. That is probably more than enough. Let me do some measuring on this bolt to this hub here. Well, where's my whoosher? There it is right there. Let's see how deep I actually need to go. Let me get my calipers. That's how deep the hub is there. And my bolt, well, it'll be approximately right here when it gets tightened up. So I need to go approximately about that deep. That would be, I'm gonna say 1 inch. So how deep am I right now? Well, I'm over 1 inch. Actually, yeah, 1 inch and 50 thousandths. I'm gonna go just a little bit more because, you know, that drill bit tapers and I'll measure in the center. Let's go just a wee bit more and I think that'd be enough. All right, let us see what we have. To the deepest part, we got 1 inch and 270. I think that's more than enough. So let me put this 390 thousandths drill in, and we will drill this. Y'all make sure I stay parallel. How's that look? Right there? Oops. I believe that's it. Yes, sir. Let me check it one more time. Right there is 1 inch and 235. What did I say? I need 1 inch and 50 thousandths. I think that's more than enough. So let me get my tap now and we'll put some threads on that hole. All right, let me shoot this with some W&D 14. Let's run this tap in here. Now again, y'all watch, make sure I stay parallel. I think that ain't too bad. Check it this way. Yeah, I think that'll be all right. Let's bring her on in. Oh yeah, she's doing good. All right, I think I bottomed out. Let me take it out and blow the shavings out and we'll go another little bit bottoming out. Watch your eyes. All right, let me run this tap in there again till we get bottomed out. Well, I believe that's it. Yes, sir, I'm turning the cranking shaft over. So, I'm gonna say it's good. Let's put the bolt in there and run it all the way in and make sure we got enough room to tighten it all the way up. All right, that's bottomed out. Where did my calipers go? Let me go get them. All right, that hub is approximately that deep. So it's gonna be butted up against here. And this is a little shy of being even with under the head. Well, you gotta remember, you got this whoosher and you got that whoosher. So I think we'll be okay. Well, I'll tell you what, let me just knock that hub on there and we'll tighten everything up and just see. All right, that is on. Where's my bolt? Here's my bolt. Put that in there. Got plenty of engagement on the threads. Let me run this in. Well, let me get the impact. Run that in. Oh yes, sir. We are good to go. That is awesome. Well, I just spent about an hour cleaning this shop up. That floor was absolutely disgusting. It sure was. Then I come over here, started cleaning on the motor. I got the front somewhat clean. Then I cleaned the lifter valley, all the lifter bores, and the oil passages in between them because there was a little trash in there. Sprayed the carb cleaner in there and blowed it out. Turned it over to get the oil pan gasket off, and well, the pickup tube was almost completely stopped up. It looked like, well, it looked like mouse hair is what it looked like. So I took the top off of it and cleaned all that out, and it looked like a brand spankingly new one now. What I'm planning on doing now, because it's getting kind of late, coming up on midnight, I'm gonna flip this back over, put the cam in, I'm gonna degree the cam, and then we might put the front cover on, and I think we're gonna call it a night because I gotta get up, well, early for me tomorrow because I found me some valve seals, yes sir. Got on Summit's website and found what I needed. The ones I got were 518-16. What I need is 517-16. Got on O'Reilly's, AutoZone, Napa, Advance. None of them can get them. You can get them from Summit, but it'd take 2 or 3 days. I don't have that kind of time. Well, my handy dandy assistant, I'm telling y'all, he's both handy and dandy. He said, well, call our local hoity-toity machine shop. See if he's got some in stock. Well, I called him. He does. So I'm going to go down there tomorrow morning and get them. And we'll get them heads put together, get them put on here. And I believe if we don't have any more trouble, we'll hear this thing run tomorrow. Yes, sir. Anyway, let me get busy, flip this thing over, get the cam in it, get it degreed in. All right, let's get this Camelema Ding Dong. This here motor. Like I said, I'm going to degree this in just because. But I'm not going to go into great detail about it. If y'all want to know how to do that, well, there's a bunch of videos online to show you how to do it. And I went through it in pretty good detail on the old 4-wheeler drive. So if you want to know all about that, well, you can go watch that video. Right now, I'm going to get this in here. Need a longer bolt. There it goes. Oh yeah. All right, let's get this here sprocket on this here crank. If you're wondering why I've got a rag taped to my arm, well, the dipstick tube was broke on the end. It was very, very sharp. Well, I sliced my arm right there. Tried to slice it open, and it won't quit bleeding. So that's the only thing I knew to do. Anyway, let's get this here sprocket on. Now, I reckon it's time to put this sprocket on. We got to get them dot to dot. They're a little off. Let me turn this crank and see if they line up. All right, that dot straight up and down. It's a tooth off. So let me take this here back off. We got the turner. Now I got right there, and then I need to turn the cam. Not like that. Oh, it slipped on me. Aggravating son of a gun, you. All right, I believe it's lined up. Let me turn this back this way just a little bit. Right there, they are lined up. Yes, sir. Now, y'all look at this right here. See all that slop? Brand spankingly new chain. You know what brand this is? It's a Poise. You remember Dumas? We put a new timing chain on him. Remember how loose it was? Remember how I said I was probably never going to use Poise again? This is the only thing I can find on short notice around here. I'm done with Poise. This is, yeah, that's ridiculous on a new chain. Anyway, let me put these bolts in this sprocket here. Do not forget your Loctite on these bolts because you do not want to have them back out. Tighten them up to 18 to 20 feetage pounds. I don't know how I'm gonna hold this. I guess just like that right there. All right, they are tightened. I reckon now let me get my degree wheel on here and we'll degree this cam in real quick. Well, I can't seem to find my degree wheel. I ain't got a clue what to do with it. I know it was in this shop because I kept it in the bottom of this toolbox right here. And I remember, I think right after I moved everything in, I got it out of there and was gonna put it somewhere else. I ain't got a clue. Y'all know about as much about it as I do. I've looked high and low and everywhere in between and looked in the garage, ain't nothing out there. I don't reckon we'll be degreeing the cam in though. So I'm gonna go in the house. It's raining, by the way. Listen, that sounds good. Anyway, I'm gonna go in the house, do a little editing, and get up in the morning, and hopefully we'll have us some valve seals tomorrow. We can finish putting this thing together and hear it run. Well, as you can see outside and hear the crickets and the frogs at the pool, it's the next night. It sure is. Let me tell you about my day. I'm telling you, this week is just, it's wore me out. Nothing has went right at all. Everything I've touched has been a disaster. Anyway, went to town and picked up my valve seals from Richmond's machine shop. Appreciate that, Mark. Come home and tried to put them on. They wouldn't fit. Most of the time, you know, valve seals, you just start them and then you push them on with your thumb. Some of them might be aggravating, get you a socket that fits over this and peck it on, but other than that, they usually go on pretty smoothly. Well, I destroyed two trying to get them on. They just would not fit. Well, I stopped and got my calipers out, started measuring the valve guides, and I knew they were a little bit over, you know, yesterday or whenever I measured them. First time I just quickly threw the caliper on there, saw they were about 500 thousandths. Well, they're all about 507 to 510. And I thought, you know, 7 to 10 thousandths, that shouldn't make them go on that hard. Tried one more time, messed up another one. Well, then I called Mark at Richmond's and told him what was going on. And he's the same thing, you know, 7, 10 thousandths, that shouldn't matter. He told me to bring them on down and he'd look at them, and well, you know, he put his calipers on them, same thing, measured. So he got his cutter out and he machined each one. It cut a little bit of metal off, and he grabbed a valve seal, stuck it on there, pushed it right down with his thumb. Yes, that's how it's supposed to do. So anyway, he fixed my heads up. He even threw them in the hot tank, cleaned them before we put the valve seals on. Appreciate that, Mark. Well, here it is right here. Richmond's Machine Service, right here in Clarksville, Tennessee. He's a very knowledgeable feller. He knows all the motors. That's what I'm telling you. Pretty nice guy too. Appreciate that, Mark. Anyway, like I said, it's going on 10 o'clock at night because, well, I've had other stuff. You know, people call, help me do this, and it never ends. I'm telling you. I will be up all night because I still got to put the heads together, and then we got to put the motor together. Yes, sir, we sure do. Anyway, I got my dial indicator set up here. We're going to check our clearance from the bottom of the retainer to the top of the valve seal here, make sure we got enough clearance for the lift cam that we got. So let me put y'all up on the camera stand and we'll see what we got here. All right, I got my dial indicator set on 0. So I'm gonna let this valve stem go down until the retainer touches the seal here, and that'll tell us how much lift we can have, and then we'll do some math. There's 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, and that's about 690 or so. We got plenty of room. 690 thousandths, and the lift on the cam is 447. That's roughly 250 thousandths of clearance. That's more than enough because you only need about 50. So we're good here. All right, now that I have determined that we got plenty of clearance for the cam that we're running, I got to put these heads together, get the springs and retainers, locks, all that on it. I just want to show y'all my brand spankingly new 30-year-old parts. If you've been with me for a while, you've heard me talk about the 283 that never got built. These are the parts for it. I bought them 30 plus years ago. These are the springs. They're dual spring. The big ones too. You know, these are cut for the big diameter. Brand new retainers, brand new locks. You might be wondering, why are you doing this and not just leaving those old heads on? That would have been fine, but I wanted to take those heads off and see what kind of wear we had on the cylinders. And we know that, you know, it's wore out. And I figure, well, why not just go ahead and build these? I had most of the parts. I didn't have the valve seals. They proved to be a pain, but anyway, that's another story. I decided to build these heads because I had the parts, and eventually we're going to build the 283 that never was, and these heads are going to go on it. The heads that are on lockjaw were the ones that were supposed to go on that 283 that never was. I don't want to take them off lockjaw. These are double humps. They're pretty much the same thing, so these will be what we'll use on that 283. I'm going to build it one of these days for sure. Anyway, that's why I've decided to go ahead and put these heads on that motor and get them put together. So let me do that. Y'all know I'm running behind. Not sure how much I'm going to show. It's just putting springs on. That's about it. Might show a couple of them, and then I'll be back when I get done. My valve spring compressor, the handle keeps falling off, so I'm gonna have to weld that on. I might just weld a different handle, because that thing, I'm telling you, that thing right there hurts. Anyway, these are dual spring. There's your inner, this is your outer, and it's got the little dampener in there. Well, for break-in, I'm going to leave the inner ones out to lighten the spring pressure. It'll put less pressure on the cam lobe and lifter. I'm trying to keep from wiping a cam, and you know that seems to be pretty common nowadays. So, trying to lighten up the spring pressure, and hopefully that you know, we won't wipe a cam. I sure hope we don't. But anyway, once we get it broke in, I'll have to you know, take springs back off and put them inner ones in. But for now, we're gonna run it like this. If I can get that lock in there. Come on now, little buddy. Get in there. There we go. All right, let me back this off. Anyway, that's one. If I can find my Hummer, I'm gonna peck on that. Let me see. I always like to do this, and do not stand directly above it, because you know it can fly apart when you first put it together if it ain't put together good. I just like to do that. If it don't fly apart, well, you're probably good. I only got 15 more to go. When I get done, I'll be back. Well, it's about an hour and a half since I talked to y'all. This is what I got done. I got 2 springs on, yes sir. My sister called me a little while ago and said her air conditioner quit working at her house. Wasn't nothing coming out the vents. So I had to run up there, see what was going on. Ended up, evac coil was froze up. And a couple of things that'll cause that. One is low freon. 2 is a dirty coil, okay, no airflow, and it freezes up. Well, they've been doing some remodeling, and the last week or 2, they've been doing sheetrock work. And I imagine that sheetrock dust has probably stopped that coil up. So I told them let it thaw out, you know, an hour or 2. Take your hose pipe and spray all that dirt out. Hopefully that's what it is, and it'll start working again. Anyway, I'm telling y'all that because that, well, that's just my typical day. I got stuff pulling me away from this work all the time. And don't get me wrong, I don't mind helping people. I'll help anybody if I can, but that's part of the reason why this project right over there is just, well, this week has not been good, I'm telling you. Anyway, let me show you this too. The handle on my valve spring compressor kept falling off. So I got me a socket welded to the top of it. I'm gonna get my little impact gun, and that's what I'm gonna use, because it takes forever to twist that thing on and off. Plus that handle kind of hurts my sensitive little fingers. Anyway, let me work on this some more. I'll be back. All right, fellas, last spring, second head last spring. Putting the socket on this here little contraption here, that sped things up greatly. It took me maybe 30 minutes to do both heads. Not bad at all. Get in there. All right, look at here. We are done. We are done with the valving springs. Yes, sir. That's awesome. I reckon we'll go over here and work on the motor now. All right, as you can see, I found my degree wheel. Found it over at Mama's a little while ago. Why was it over there? I don't know. Last time I used it, I thought it was over here on Dude. But anyway, I'm not going to walk y'all through step by step. I'm just going to skim over it. I've already done that. If you want to see it, go watch the Hoopty 4-wheel-drive video where I put the cam in it and I'll walk you through how to do this. I'm just going to skim over here. Basically, what you want to do, you want to find top dead center. Got my dial indicator up here. And you want to keep on trucking until this needle gets moving. It's going to be approximately right there. Then you want to zero this out. Where's zero? My eye, I'll tell you, my eyes are shot. I think it's right there. Yeah, we're going to call it there anyway. Now, I'm wanting to get 50 thousandths before top dead center, 50 thousandths after. But you always want to turn clockwise. So I'm going to back it up, say to 100 thousandths. Then I'm going to come back. So it's going to take all the slack out of stuff and go to 50 thousandths before. Well, I went too far. So I'm going to back her up again. I can't hardly see that. I think that's it. Now what you want to do is see where your pointer is. I'm going to move it a little bit. And it's the only time you can move it. We're going to put it at, we're using the top row of numbers, so it's 75. Let me write that number down. 75. Then I got to go after top dead center 50 thousandths. So continue rotating clockwise. It'll go to zero, it'll stop. Then go back the other way. And you want to stop at 50 thousandths. Fantastic. I need a longer bar. It'll make this less sensitive. This is longer. I'll get it here in a minute. All right, that's dead on. Now what do we have? Using the top row of numbers, I'm going to call it 102. All right. Write that 102 down. What you're trying to do is find the center of these two numbers. That's going to be your true top dead center. So let's subtract them from here to here. 25, 27. Where's the midpoint of 27? That's 13 and a half. So we've got to take away 13 and a half degrees from this number here. That'll be our true top dead center. So that will make it 102, 92, 91, 90, 89 and a half. No, 88 and a half. Will be true top dead center, 88 and 1/2. Y'all check my math on that. The right, approximately exactly right. 89, 88 and a half. That is true top dead center. And we were pretty much dead on it anyway. Now, what you can do, loosen this nut, turn this, put it to zero. I don't really like doing that because you're liable to move stuff. But if you watch that dial indicator, if it don't move, well, then you're good. All right, it didn't move. So let me put this back in there before it falls out. Then I want to take this here to zero, which is right there. And I'm going to tighten it up a little bit so it don't move on me. Again, watch your dial indicator. If it moves, then the crank's moved, and well, we may have to start over. But we know where top dead center is, so we'll top that. All right, I'm going to leave it right there, I do believe. We're now at true top dead center. All right, now I got to get me a lifter and a push rod in there. All right, got an intake all set up, lifter, push rod. You want that pretty parallel. It's the same process. You want to find the top dead center on that lobe, basically, is what you're looking for. So let me back up. You keep turning it until your needle quits moving, which is about right there. You zero that in, right there. Then 50 thousandths before, 50 thousandths after. So let me go back and come back to 50, which is about right. Oh, too far. Too far. I'm on the aggravating thing. About right there. Now let's look at the degree wheel. We are on 76. Let me write that down somewhere. Now, bring her on around to 0 again. And go back to 50 on the other side. Too far. About right there. Look at the degree wheel again. We are at 154. Let me do some maths. Well, according to my maths, the cam's way off. It's 115. Should be 110 intake center line. And, well, that's quite a bit off. I'm not sure. My degree wheel may have moved when I tighten it up. So I'm going to redo this. And I'm not going to make y'all watch that. I'll be back when I recheck this. Well, I just checked everything again, my top dead center and then the intake center line. And this time I went 20 thousandths either side instead of 50. And here's why. I got on the YouTubes and watched a video, just make sure, you know, refresh my memory. And this guy said only go to 20 thousandths before and after because of the way the cam lobe may be shaped. And that's what I did, and we come up with 110. That's what it's supposed to be. Let's put this thing together. Well, it is approximately 4:45 in the a.m. of the morning time. And, well, I had just got done taking me a little break. I was getting Hungarian yesterday. My belly was growling. So it took me a little break, got me something to eat. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm getting a little sleepy, yep. Anyway, I got quite a bit done, but I still got to do lifters. I got to clean the push rods up because they're all rusty. We got to get the rocker arms on and get them adjusted. Get the intake on. Distributor, get it timed, water pump, the whatever that's called right there, crank hub pulley thingamabob. After that, yeah, it may be time to put it on the old run stand. I'm not sure if I'm going to run it this morning, or I may have to go take me a little nap because I'm telling you, I'm getting a little tired. Anyway, let me continue on. Let's get this thing together. Well, it is approximately 8:50 in the morning. The only thing I can tell you is I'm really, really tired. I sure am. About out of gas. Hopefully, though, we're fixing to fire this thing up and break it in. Let me explain the break-in procedure for those who don't know. As soon as you get it fired up, you want to bring it to about 2,000 to 2,500 RPM. The reason why, the cam lobes, they get oiled by oil being slung and splashed by the crankshaft as it turns. So you got to get it up to RPM to get that oil slinging. The reason you vary it is they claim that at 2,000 RPM, well, it may be splashing it all over here. and at 2500 it might be splashing it all over here. So you got to vary it, make sure you get, you know, all the cam lobes oiled real good. Hopefully we ain't gonna wipe no cam lobe or wear a lifter out. Sure hope not. I did put that ZDDP additive in there, and hopefully that's gonna help us out. I got it full of earls and water. Only thing I got to worry about is the timing. Also, you might be wondering why that 2-bubble intake is back on there. Well, one, we know this carburetor runs good. Two, I never had time to rebuild those 3 deuces, and I ordered parts to make my linkage with 6 days ago, I think, and it just shipped yesterday, so that's real good. Anyway, I'm gonna put y'all on the stand, fire this thing up, and fingers crossed. Let me cross them really good. Fingers crossed that everything goes good with this break-in. All right, here we go. Fire in the hole. Well, we got an issue. For whatever reason, this throttle is screwed all the way in, and it's idling at about 1,000 RPM. That's not going to work. I'll be back. Let me think what I'm going to do. All right, I found me a longer screw. Let's see what happens right here. But the flex plate's hitting the starter. Well, here it there. It needs shimming bad, but I ain't gonna cut it off right now. It'll just have to self-clear, is all I can say. Well, we're about 10 minutes into it. She's still smoking a little bit. It's oil, I can smell it. It's also got a random misfire. Not super bad, but it's definitely there. Also got a little water dripping. It's this rear freeze plug on this side. We'll have to put some freeze plugs in it. Other than that, everything seems to be going pretty good. There's a puddle of water right there coming off the freeze plug. It may or may not have a wee bit of blow by. Well, we're at the 20-minute mark now, and it's still doing pretty good. I think I'm gonna go about 5 more minutes and we'll shut her down. Well, it's a few hours later. I went in the house and took me a shower and about a 3-hour nap. And I feel pretty crappy still, but I ain't quite as tired as I was. I come back out here. I want to see if this cam's got a lope to it. You know, we had her revved up to 2,000, 2,400, never got to idle it down. So I want to see if it's got a lope. I got my timing light out because I forgot to set the timing too. I've already swapped the idle screw out. So let's fire it up and I'll set the timing and let's just see what it sounds like. All right, fire in the old hole. It's got a little bit of a lope. It ain't nothing great. I didn't want a bunch, but I was hoping for a little bit more, but it's fine and dandy just like it is. Well, the whole thing runs. It stayed together. I don't believe he wiped no cam lobes, at least not during break-in. It's a pile of junk. There's no doubt. It's wore out. It's an oil burner. You go to revving it, carrying on, and yeah, it's shooting out some Earl smoke for sure. But hey, the only purpose of this motor right now is to get this old car back on the road, and it'll serve its purpose pretty good. Well, I'll keep it short and sweet because I still got to get in the house and do 2 or 3 hours of editing. But before I do that, Mama just called and said her air conditioner's quit working. So I got to go look at that. The video may be a little late tonight. I will say this. I ain't worked on a pile of junk that hard. Well, probably never. I have pulled a few all-nighters, yes, sir. That garage right there in my younger days, back when I worked second shift, I've seen the sun come up many a morning in it. Anyway, appreciate y'all watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you don't mind, hit that like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends. And until next time, go do something. Blurb, blurb.